evening. And like I said, we'll have the swearing in on May 28th for Christian Patz. Next item on the agenda is L2. It's the ECCL update milestone status update.
Yes, President Dice, members of the board, the purpose of item L2 is to give a brief update to the board on the ECCL project. And I think John Baker from Swinnerton, who represents the construction management firm that will be working with the district, and Mark Benet will co-present. Mr. Benet is going to play IT director this evening. Mr. Baker, welcome.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to make my first presentation in our role as owner's representative to your board and the community. What you see on the screen is the milestone schedule I believe that the board and community have seen in previous iterations, and this is the most recent update. So I'd like to give an update on those milestones. The first item you'll see up here is soils clearance by the State Department of Toxic Substance Control. I'm pleased to announce that on Tuesday that department, DTSC, gave us written approval of our remediation action work plan. That's a major milestone achievement. The state regulates soil mitigation particularly stringently in regard to K through 12 facilities, so that's a big milestone. You'll notice if you drive down San Pablo Avenue that activity has commenced. We had mobilization and fencing starting last week, and today actually did our first digging out there on site. The soil mitigation will consist of roughly a three-week period, roughly 2 weeks of actual excavation where soil will be removed from the site and stockpiled on site. It will be then tested in small batches, and the remediation contractor, Firma Corporation, will be checking that. If it determines it needs to be off-hauled to landfill sites, there's 2 classifications of those depending on the TAT that testing goes. It will be then off-hauled the 3rd week of the operation. If it's determined that soil can stay on site, it'll be then placed on site. There will also be import of soil to fill in areas where we've got to bring the soil back up to where it was, so the quantity of soil which is removed will be replaced with clean import fill. I want to point out that if the soil is determined to remain on site, again the level of regulation is the highest of any facility in the state for K through 12 facilities. So it's a very cautious operation. Firma Corporation is a soil remediation subcontractor that we have extensive experience with. They're excellent. We had a pre-construction meeting last Thursday, which involved their safety officers as well as those from Turner Construction, which went quite well. And we anticipate a really pretty smooth operation out there. The next milestone is the approval by the Division of State Architect. This is also a big milestone. This is the basically permitting. The Division of State Architect permits all K through 12 schools statewide. We have 4 packages which have gone in, and the first 2 of those have been approved, and the second 2 are in review this week with the architect and engineering team, and we anticipate final approval next Friday, May 23rd. We're about essentially 99% through with that process, and the remaining meetings, basically what the team now has completed their meetings with DSA, and they're revising the drawings. Those drawings then are taken back next week, and DSA officials review the documents to make sure everything's been picked up, and then there's a stamping and signing process that takes place. They stamp and sign, they scan documents, so we should have our fully permitted set of drawings by early the week of the 25th, the 26th. So that's also a major milestone. So I'm confident that my next report to this group regarding our next milestone update will include DSA approval also. You'll see the next item here which is the Turner construction contract. Tonight is the first reading of their contract, and council will be making a presentation, I believe, the next agenda item, and I will be supporting that report. Tonight's the first reading. Then the second reading is on the 28th of May, 2 weeks from tonight. What's taking place between those milestones is the final bid, the bidding from Turner, which is in progress right now, which will finalize the project, the process, their final pricing. And Dave Gallagher is going to be staying on in his previous role to work with me and our company to review that and reach final agreement with Turner. And then after the 28th, it goes to the City Council on June 3rd. The next milestone, the joint occupancy agreement, that also is having its first reading tonight by council. Same schedule. It will have the second reading with the board on the 28th, and then final approval with City Council on June 3rd. The next milestone, owner's representative firm, that would be ourselves, and we were approved. I was very pleased to say by the board on May 7th, and we were able to review documents and get up to speed before that date, and conducted our first formal meeting this Tuesday, and we're off and running. Our financial control specialist was here all day today working with district staff to get up to speed on accounting systems and doing our due diligence on budget items and understanding your systems. The next milestone, construction. As you know, we've already started construction because most of the demolition already took place. That had to stop while we do our soil remediation. Once that work is done in 3 weeks, we'll commence with a small amount of demolition. That'll be the first week in June. And then once that happens, then new construction begins, which will start with earthwork for foundations and other elements of the project. So we're on schedule, we're still remain on schedule, and are in good shape in that regard. And then the final current milestone, which is down at furniture equipment. The furniture plans are part of the current set of documents. That based on those plans, we have an estimate for the furniture fixture equipment which was developed, which is in the project budget. And the next step is the firm who's a part of the MK Think, who's one of the partners of Nexus Partners, will be actually preparing the documents for procurement. And over the next 6 months, we'll have a series of involved stakeholders in regard to signing off on those documents, and then we would work towards procurement. But that process is still a ways off. And that's a summary of the project milestones. Anything further from the board or questions?
Any questions from board members? I'm just stunned about the amount of activities happening. I'm impressed and excited and optimistic about the July 2015 high school site. So I appreciate that you and your firm are on and able to organize us and keep us, as close to every possible marker in the sand. So I appreciate that, your presence here has been really amazing. Just even in it's been a week. I know it's only. Yeah, I'm like, it's 2 weeks, been a week. So it's really impressive. Just thank you so much for being able to jump in as quickly as you've been able to. Any other comments from board members?
Yeah, so welcome, Mr. Baker. This is your first presentation meeting. The guaranteed maximum price, can you say a little bit more about that? Were we on any hiccups there, or does it look like we're on track to land?
No, in our discussion with Turner, that they are about 80 or 90% complete with the bidding process. They've got a few more trades to go. Mm-hmm. We are starting working with them on Monday, I think, is our first meeting to review their numbers. And so we'll be working hard on that. And so that process, they still are, this is sort of their last week. The remaining bids are coming in towards the end of this week. And so we roll our sleeves up starting next week. And next week is the bulk of the work. We'll be reviewing their numbers and in detail. And again, Dave Gallagher, who's been shepherding this process to date, will be staying on board to join us in that effort.
Okay. I mean, is it too soon to tell if their numbers are going to come in, quite different from what we're expecting, or? Yeah,
I mean, we're not expecting them to be different. They did a detailed comprehensive estimate based on the DSA drawings in April, I think, and that was, you know, it's an estimate, so, but it's
Okay.
within the margin of error on
Okay.
budget. So we're in good shape in that regard, but we until they get all
Okay.
the numbers in, we're not gonna.
Well, that's close enough in time to the present date. I mean, that was just last month.
Yeah, the estimate they did
You know, if
is
we saw
based
an
on-
estimate a year ago,
Right.
you know, prices have changed since then.
Correct, but the estimate they did, it was on the same set of drawings that they're now bidding out.
Got it.
So we'd anticipate that would be in the same range as that.
Okay. And then when you say construction should commence, we said the first week of June?
Yeah,
Is that kind of
again,
right?
it's
This is
demolition
assuming-
already, the majority of demolition has taken place. Now the soil remediation takes place because the remaining demolition, which is actually a small amount, has to wait until the soil is remediated.
Right.
Remember, that's removing
But
footings.
that's under the demolition contract.
Correct.
So the construction's got to wait till, you're anticipating a
Yeah,
June
the
3rd
project
contract
right,
approval.
the project schedule is that demolition's complete. Actually, construction starts concurrently. Basically, the first week in June is when the new construction commences.
Okay.
That's the schedule.
Assume that we're otherwise on track with the contract here, and the city is, you know, in accord. Everything's
Yes, we met, I attended my first committee meeting Monday morning with the city, and we gave the same report.
great. This is a little question, but I've gotten it from a parent of Annie Yates, and who's also a resident of Emery Bay. Do you know the chain link fence that separates our property, the school property, and Emery Bay? Is that going to be replaced, removed, kept in place?
Yeah,
during
I
the phase
confess
one
I
of this?
don't know that detail.
Yeah. All right.
The fencing scope is fairly extensive, but I would have to, although we've been reviewing the documents, I confess I don't know that detail,
Yeah.
but I'd be happy
Me neither.
to.
If you could get that to me, I'd appreciate it.
I'd be happy to. I
Right.
can do that. I can certainly do that by the end of the week.
Okay. Anything else? No. Just to celebrate. Well, just before you go, any members of the public wish to address this particular topic? All right.
You know, I'm just looking
Oh,
out. I'm
back
just
to-
looking out into the public, and I'm seeing a former board
I know,
member
it's so cool.
who was a part of this whole vision from the beginning. And I'm still going to call you Member Webb. I know you have to be excited, and you have to be elated that finally, you know, things are starting to look like we're going to build this building. So, you know, with that being said, I want to thank you for all your support as well, you know, within this vision.
Thank you. So with no public comment, thank you very much and appreciate your first report.